Hello, YouTube. So Armagnac has many better videos out there than Calvados does, but I figured it would be fun to add another one to the stack and at the same time review some fairly, representative bottlings from you that shouldn't be too hard to get in the U.S. Okay, so start off with the basics. Armagnac. Armagnac is a great brandy made in the southwest of France. So when I say that, the immediate thing you should be asking is, okay, but that's cognac. Yes, okay, but Armagnac's a little bit different. You can the big difference. There are three big differences. So we'll go through them. The first difference, and the one that's really, really important, is in the Cognac region, which is a little bit further north. Cognac is pretty much dominated by four big firms that just buy up all the grapes and all the juice, and they in turn are owned by some pretty big international corporations. There are a couple of small family independents running around, but not too many. Armagnac is the exact opposite. It's pretty much all small independent ownership. Which means that they have to sell based on the integrity and the quality of their product rather than, brand and sugar and stuff like that. So it's actually much more likely that you find things like this. This is a bottling of PM Spirits, a VSOP that I just reviewed. Bottle at cask strength, nothing added, nothing taken out. This is actually pretty common in Armagnac, but good luck finding some, a bunch of cognacs that do this. So that's the big one. The second difference is distillation. Most cognac, actually all cognac, is double distilled in pot stills, and you would think, oh, that's going to make a heavier spirit. It's not. It makes this sort of it comes out at a higher alcoholic strength. Which makes it much more spirity, actually. Armagnac, there are a couple of ways you can distill, but the common one is to use a column still that's sort of one of the really short, squat, old school ones. So they'll sometimes cart these things around like different villages, and everyone will distill their different stuff. You're not distilling to a high strength. You're only distilling to maybe 50, 60% alcohol. So you're still retaining a lot of grape character. Third big difference is the grape varietals used. So this is a historical thing, right? So back in the day, right, both Cognac and Armagnac used a lot of the Folle Blanche grape, which is incidentally bottled as a single vineyard bottling in this stuff. Folle Blanche. So, by the way, neither region makes particularly good drinking wines, and especially the ones that they use for distilling are not pleasant. They tend to be sort of thin and acidic, but not acidic in a nice way. Of course, but if you know anything from Jamaica, like the more acidity your wash has, the more character your spirit is going to have. So that's what you want. Anyways, the sort of old school grape in both regions is Folle Blanche. And then phylloxera happened, and I'm not going to talk about phylloxera, but basically killed off like all the vines in Europe. And then it killed off all the vines in California, but that's another story. After phylloxera and everyone started replanting, Cognac went all in on Ugni Blanc, which is also known as Trebbiano in Italy. Terrific grape, really hardy, just tough. You can beat the crap out of it and it'll still make wine. That's bottled here. Armagnac was a little more varied in where it went. It planted some Folle Blanche back. It did plant some Ugni Blanc, but what it really moved into was Baco, which is a hybrid grape which is now frowned upon by the French government and traditionalists, but it's a fantastic little grape. And actually dominated up until recently when they started pulling it up to plant more Ugni Blanc. So now Ugni Blanc is really dominating. So the big thing is you're getting sort of different ingredients for your sort of Armagnac cocktail, if I can put it that way. This Armagnac is regionally it's pretty simple. There are three regions. The rules of them are pretty similar. Most of the Armagnac you're going to see is from the west side, which is the Bas Armagnac. But you do occasionally see stuff from the other regions. Now, onto the bottlings, right? What encouraged me to do this video was this 3-piece set, which comes in a nice box, this nice wooden thing, by Artez, who is in the Bas Armagnac. What they've done is they've done single varietal bottlings of their Armagnac. So this one is entirely made from Folle Blanche, this one entirely from Ugni Blanc, and this one entirely from Baco. By the way, all the things I'll be reviewing is from the Heavenly Spirits range. So Heavenly Spirits, if you want to cut me a check for this, just shoot me a message. I'll give you an address. Not really, but so yeah, let's try these. All of these are bottled at 40%, which is a little bit annoying. Again, you do commonly see Armagnac, especially once you get older, more prestigious ones start to climb up towards cask strength, but we'll get there in a second. These three are just from just at 40, and so let's get started. Okay, so I'm going to start off in the Folle Blanche, which again is this sort of really old school grape. It's a little bit of trouble. It has a couple of vulnerable to certain kinds of growth problems, but very interesting grape. Okay, on the nose, lightly floral, little orange blossom. I'm gonna have to rush through this because I'm in sort of a hurry. But also something kind of soapy and maybe a little metallic, kind of rusty penny. Dried orange, plums, like some couple of English breakfast tea leaves. Rosewater, not Turkish light, just pure old rosewater. Throw like a spritz of lime juice in there, and then just a little, like wood smoke, like maybe a campfire or something. And some jalapeno too. On the palate. Ooh. Every time I try this. Okay. This is initially very woody. You're getting tons of French oak on all this stuff. This is defined by, Clarisrober or whatever that stuff is. So very woody on the front end, pleasantly so. In the back end, it gets very like perfumey, floral, almost like soapy. Initially, when I tried this, I thought maybe the glass was tainted or the bottle was tainted, but it's not. It's just the sort of the character of this distillate. It's extremely, perfumey is the only word I can use. Beyond that, prunes, black pepper, like a shot of Grand Marnier in there. Tannic overstewed Darjeeling. So I'm not talking breakfast tea. This is more, a little more aromatic. Apricots. That finish. It's fun, but it's not the most pleasant thing in the world. There's a funny lemon spritz move, kind of, met floral component going in there too. This is a terrific digestif though. Like I could toss this down after a meal and be very happy. It's a little bit baffling for me. Probably more for my taste a sort of educational curiosity than something to seriously drink, but I'll give this 81 out of 100. And let's move on. They initially had these in a different order, so I'm just sort of reordered them. Next up is the Ugni Blanc. Again, this is the main grape in Cognac, and it's becoming swiftly the main grape in Armagnac too. Also from the Bas Armagnac, same region. Um, by the way, all these are Napoleons. They're 10 years old. Um, so is this actually. So it's Napoleon time. Bigger. Kind of that rusty thing again. Dried cherries, kind of a strawberry note. Almost like dried strawberries, the stuff you get in like Special K, and it all piles up at the bottom of the box, and you kind of like all mash it in your mouth at once. Kind of that kind of strawberry. Um, Definite wood spice, some orange peel, a little cough syrup, touch of Robitussin in there, basil, Irish breakfast tea, kind of just an old school Macallan note, actually, like, Macallan 12 from back in the 90s or something. Um, Black pepper, a little shoe polish. Let's give it a try on the palate. More balanced, um, more immediate, actually. Just kind of immediately pleasurable to my palate. Drying at the back end, though, still. All these are a little bit thin. I think that's a side effect of them lowering it to 40%. Yeah, that these are seriously tannic spirits, which I like. I did like a video on how awesome dry things are. Uh, Orange blossoms, Darjeeling again, very grassy actually, kind of a dry grass note. Um, just dominated by tannins, like wood tannins, tea tannins, all the tannins. Um, kind of a, but also like it's like dried fruit, but like almost if you flamethrowered some prunes, so kind of burned prunes. Oh, not black, more like pink peppercorn. Actually, kind of a smoky, bitter thing with a little bit of a cooling herbal note at the back. Um, yeah, the bitterness is almost Malort like, but like if you mix the Malort with like wood smoke and tea tannins, I don't know how to explain that. Nice, a little thin, um, still a little basic, um, but I like it. I'm going to give this 82 plus out of 100. Let's move on to the Baco, um, friend of Armagnac makers alike and enemy of traditionalists who hate hybrid grapes. I don't know why. I mean, there's, what makes Cabernet Sauvignon not a hybrid grape, and Baco, someone has a biological explanation, and I don't really care, but whatever. Let's get into the nose. We're back to lighter. This is much lighter than the previous, not much, but a hair bit lighter than the previous one. Um, just fresh black fruit, like black cherries or something like that. This is very like fresh fruity. White pepper, yeah, cherries everywhere. Just maybe some English breakfast tea again, but kind of brewed this time. Kind of floral sour note, like you mix your flowers with like some tangerine peel or something. Um, it's very twiggy. It's very like twigs and other forest floor stuff, foliage. Um, and that little metallic note I was also getting in the Folle Blanche, although not as soapy or floral in any case. Um, it's been something in this like reminds me of smelling a chemistry class. Like you, I don't know. You pick up some exotic metal that'll light on fire and blow the whole place up, and you get that a nose. It's a little bit like that. It's like chemical, rock or something. I don't know. Um, Anyways, on the palate. yeah, light, but still quite tannic, still drying out my mouth quite nicely. So if you're into that, these. If you're into dry stuff, like Armagnac is your thing. It's kind of an interesting mix of fruity and like metallic, which I enjoy. Irish breakfast tea again. Little wormwood. Okay, no, I could go like absinthe in this, like old school absinthe. Dried cherries, grapefruit, maybe. Oh, hold on. Can you buy dried grapefruit? I think you must be able to, but if not, this is like what it would be. And a kind of aggressive, along with the wood tannins, a kind of aggressive jalapeno note on the back end. A little grassy, which I'm enjoying. A little green. It feels like there maybe were some Baco stems in the in the wash when they put it in. Still a little bit thin. I'm also going to give this 82 plus out of 100. I like this set. This is a lot of fun. And I applaud Artez for doing this. But if I can be totally honest, my favorite one of these is actually what happens when you add them to each other. This isn't going to be like 1-to-1-1, but it's going to be pretty close. I've tried this before, and it works shockingly well, actually. Give that a minute to set. Nice. Anyways, moving on. Move some stuff around here. Okay, but the big producer you will see on the shelves. So this is kind of, this is great if you can find it. But the one you should be able to find, if you can find any Armagnac in your area, is Delord. You might also see Marie Duffau, which is the same producer. It's just a different blend. That one is very Ugni Blanc heavy. This one still is, but less so. It's I think it's like 57, 58% Ugni Blanc, and the rest is a balance of Folle Blanche and Baco, and also Colombard, which is another grape that's allowed. Colombard tends to be used for like table wine and stuff from the region, but you do see it pop up on occasion in the Armagnac. Labaud, Chateau de Labaud, I know recently did 100% Colombard, which I haven't tried, but which sounds really fun. So Delord, about as big as producers in Armagnac get. This one's a Napoleon 10-year-old. 40% also. What I would like to complain about is this stupid wax, which I eventually had to like break out a knife to try to cut this stuff out, and I just made a mess of the thing. France, like study Maker's Mark. Maker's Mark have figured out how to do wax that you can get off the bottle without like causing problems. Just work on your closures. Work on that. Moving on. So I wanted to save this until after these three for a very specific reason. So this is a blend. Yeah, much more kind of honeyed and a little bit rounder and fuller than the others. Kind of the mix of honeys, you're getting sort of clover honey. It's very light aromatic, but it's also like forest honey, so there's a little bit of sourness there. Floral with a little bit of citrus in there, little spritz. Cigars, like Honduran cigars, like punches. Prunes, raisins, old coffee grinds, white pepper, little bit of that sort of rusty penny thing. Milk tea, like bubble tea, black bubble tea. So it's sort of dairy tea, sugary, creamy thing on the nose. A little bit of marmalade too, just a touch of sort of, sweet orange. Very well constructed. This is about $40. Used to be a little bit cheaper, but pricing on the palate. Oh yeah. So this is why I wanted to keep this one for after these, for late in the tasting. So France in general allows for a little bit of dosage for spirits, which is basically added sugar. It's a little more complicated than that, but not by much. I think it's something like up to 12 grams. Armagnac doesn't do it that often, certainly not as often as Cognac. But this one, it's very, the sweetness on this is quite upfront, and it could just be from the cask. I don't know, but I would not be shocked in any way whatsoever if this had in fact been dosed. What it is doing is making it more sort of round and full, which I think they're using to make up for the low proof, and it's working actually. Off dry, a little syrupy. Sorry about the lip smacking. People are complaining in the comments. It is working, but there's just a little too much sweetness there, and it's throwing me off. Honey again. Yeah, but citrus too. Lemon zest, orange zest, strong black tea, like you left it to brew for like a half an hour. Prunes, white pepper, and just kind of oak tannins. Lots of oak tannins, but it's really pleasant. I mean, I like. So what you got here is something that is in the center. It hits you in the center, and it's very sweet and kind of Aunt Jemima like, and then it gets dry. Americans would love this stuff, and they were drinking more of it. Frankly, it just feels very sort of America pleasing on the palate. Yeah, it's a little bit like eating pancakes. But throw some raisins and some like strong Ethiopian floral coffee in there. This is, a lot of ways I could see people from different realms coming to this. This feels like a kind of a vatting of like a, good, decent Central South American style rum, like a Santa Teresa or something. Vat that into some like young sherried malt, like an Aberlour. That's kind of what this is doing. It's a little bit too sweet for me, but it's very round. It's very complete, very well put together, and drying. But it does have that sort of sweet woody note up front, which is very nice. So okay, this is $40. On YouTube, at least, it's the 25 that's been getting more attention, which is understandable because that's only like 70. And where else except Armagnac are you going to get a 25-year-old spirit for $70? You aren't. The thing is, this little 10-year-old, this little Napoleon, I don't think it's that far behind the 25-year-old. I mean, you're getting a little bit more. You are. It's actually a little bit drier too, which I like. But this is great stuff, and definitely a safe buy for someone who wants to hop into the category. I'm gonna give this an 84 minus. The minus because it's just a little bit too sweet for me. But I could see someone with more of a sweet tooth kind of dropping the minus. Okay, the last one is. Let me get some more water. Make sure my palate is not. The reason why I put this kind of late in the tasting is to make sure that my palate was not corrupted, because sugar will ruin your palate real quick. So let me try this blended one that I made a minute ago. The Artezes together, just to see. Oh yeah. 83. Still not up there with this, but I mean, you can buy these, all three of these, and just vat them together, and it's great. Okay, last one I got is an example of what happens if you spend a little bit more money. This is something I actually bought for my wife's birthday. This is a little sample bottle I had left behind from the tasting. This is a Dartigalongue, 30-year-old, 1989 vintage. So bottled at 43%, a little bit stronger. This is, I think, the oldest house still alive in the Armagnac region. Certainly, I think in the Bas Armagnac. I think they've been at this for over 200 years now. So, and I'm pretty sure they actually might have stock going back 200 years. I mean, if you're looking to buy an old spirit, there go to them first. Just search, see what you can get from these guys. So this is a 30-year-old from 89. I made it the nose. Okay, different world. Just kind of Christmas spices. It's like it's Christmas in Southwest France. Cinnamon, nutmeg, clove forever. Little cardamom, brown sugar, black pepper, a little rusted penny again. That's kind of a common note. A dried fruit, like just prunes, raisins, cranberries. Something a little bit ashy, like a natural leaf cigar ash or something. Maybe the cigar is still burning a little bit in the background. Yeah, this just smells like this. Okay, so if you leave spirits in a barrel for long enough and just pound them decade after decade after decade with wood, they eventually kind of converge into something that's kind of the same thing. And this is that. This is I mean, you could mistake this for an old Dalmore, an old Appleton, an old Martell or something. But because it's from Armagnac and not from something more popular, this is 100. This is about 20 as opposed to 500 or more. But I mean, it's got that sort of just old woody, Christmassy spirit to it. On the palate, extremely drying. My mouth has just had my body has just had every ounce of moisture taken out of it. Very dry, like you brewed all the tea in the world. Now it's just, and now you're trying to drink it all at once. This is my thing, but brown sugar, a little brown sugar sweetness coming through. Very ashy, sort of, cigar ash on top of Christmas. Like Santa's been smoking, some good stuff. Christmas spice, cigar ash, menthol, just wood bitters, tons of wood bitterness. That rusty note again, which I like. Toasted nutshells, like walnut shells. Maybe some old tea bags. Something, I don't know. Old Oloroso sherry, maybe something like that. Very good. It might be a hair bit two-dimensional for me. It's pretty much, it's on it's sort of dried fruit and aggressive woody oaky thing. And it's not going to get off that road for you. There's, in my heart of hearts, I love distillates. I love hearing from the stuff coming off the still, and that's kind of all gone here. But it's great. I mean, it's lovely stuff. If you want dry, this is what you want. If you want to hold the spirit, this is also what you want. I'm going to give this 88 points. Do not let that be dissuaded from what this is. This is a terrific old spirit, and yeah, that's kind of all I got to say about this. So Armagnac, what are the takeaways? Well, first of all, like if you're coming from malts or rum, and you just want something with that, kind of dark fruity, heavily woody character with, a nice off-dry opening, followed by just clamping down with tannins on the side of your mouth. This is a great place to go. Also, if you want old spirits, if you're looking for an anniversary gift or a birthday present for someone, who's been around a while, you want to go to Armagnac. And I don't know. That's kind of all I got. I think they're still terrific values. Go out and try them. I would love for all of these to start bottling at 42, even just 42% would be a step forward, because they're all a hair bit thin, except for the one that I'm pretty sure is dosed, and that's a problem too. So get the strengths up, cut down the sugar a little bit. That's all I got. Thanks for watching, and cheers.